yes, racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
It's the second race of the round of 12. After eliminating 4 drivers and taking it down from an entire season of over 30 races, here we are tonight for the Chapman Cup Series. Live here on V-Speed from Kansas Speedway, it's the Chapman Environmental Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. If you're just joining us here this season, we are down to our final 12, and one of those drivers who went pretty cold and had a drought this season got a win last week, Alex, at New Hampshire. And it's the Alzheimer's Awareness 201 presented by All About Bugs. I got to say, Alex, last week that was kind of a statement that, hey, you know, I'm still in contention to maybe go 5 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Rader, by far the dominant car last week at New Hampshire. He looked incredibly stout, picking up his second win of the season and punching his ticket to the round of 8. Who's going to join him tonight, though, is the question. The last real, mile and a half on the calendar, the rest of the way, sans Vegas. So it's going to be a fun one tonight here from Kansas, a track that these cars really seem to mesh with, as you see the playoff grid on your screen here.
We'll take a look at those point totals. After last week's win, Rob Rader technically would be at the top there. But with the reset, I got to say, Jeremy Burns has been quiet these last 3 or 4 weeks. He needs to turn it up a little bit here to get into championship form before we get to the round of 4. Just top 5s aren't going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been running pretty well, but when you've had a season where you've been running the best of anyone in the field, only running pretty well is a noticeable step back, and that's part of the reason why we've seen some other faces in victory lane the past month or so. Very notably, Travis Gilbert rattling off back-to-back wins to start the round of 16, and then Rob Rader picking up the win last week at New Hampshire, opening the door for a couple of these folks who we don't see as much of, but on the bottom side of this group, I mean, this is a critical race to try to work your way in. Next week is the road course, the last one of the season at the Charlotte Roval. So if you are not a road course guy, this is the opportunity to try to get yourself in position to advance to the round of 8.
Yeah, and of course, Jeremy Burns has won a lot of these road courses throughout these seasons, so we look for him to probably perform pretty well there. Taking a look at Kansas Speedway. 1.5 miles open June 1st, 2001. Track hasn't really changed at all since its inception. 17 degrees of banking in the corners. Kansas City, Kansas, the venue here tonight. And the race analysis up on your screen as well. 134 laps with a 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. 5 tire sets available. 2 green-white checkered attempts on the stage at lap 40. That is important here, with 50% fuel and the iRacing Fix setup. But let's get your Coastal Financial Pole Award up on the screen, and starting on that top spot, it's going to be Jeremy Burns in the number 9. Starting to his outside, we try to show you the proper grid here. 29.804 for Burns. Carter Lynn starting to his outside in the 66. Row number 2 with Jacob Sirkovich. Michael Call in 4th. Top 5 with Nick Alves. Kevin Orlando will start in 6th. Rob Rader, last week's winner at New Hampshire, will start in 7th. Michael Reed in 8th. In the top 10, Matt Robinson and Trevor Keith.
Looking back to row number 6, it'll be Dylan Picklesheimer in the 35, Parker Johnston in that 48 machine. Row 7 will be the 8 of Brandon Richardson alongside Kyle Stewart in the 10 ride. Dakota Floyd rolls off 15th here tonight in the 57. John Fike to his outside in the 65. With Tyler Harrison, Travis Gilbert making up row number 9, and Grant Turner and Justice Murphy making up row number 10.
We'll continue to let those names cycle on the bottom of your screen, but for the second race of the round of 12, Jeremy Burns is going to lead them into turn 1. Green flag, and we're underway at Kansas. Problems in the back. That's Gilbert's involved. It looks like Fike sideways as well. They're going to stay green, but the field is massively detached here.
Yeah, everyone got really separated through 3 and 4. From the looks of things, it just looks like the two of them maybe got together just a little bit. If I'm reading it right, I'm trying to take a look here on my end.
Back on the replay, it looks like the 22 and 65 might have made contact here.
Yeah, you see the 22 up high. Oh, 65 just gets a little bit loose. Had to save it, but it's actually the 12 who gets into him, as Richardson also a little sideways in 4. There's a lot of cars who all kind of got out of sorts there in 3 and 4, but the initial bit of contact is after the 65. So John Fike gets loose in 3 and 4. Gets tagged just a little bit by Justice Murphy in the 12. No caution, though. We stay green. Everyone kept it pointed the correct direction, but that almost got a little dicey as you see Sirkovich into the wall off of 4.
Almost 3 wide. It actually was 3 wide there through the middle of the corner, and the 15 up through the middle poked his nose. That's Trevor Keith. He was trying to get to the inside of Sirkovich, lifted out of the throttle just in time. Sirkovich hit the wall and almost some contact with Picklesheimer. Again, Sirkovich a little bit loose there.
Trying to keep it up in that middle lane right now. Now going down the side draft off the 35 off of turn 4. This is running in the 7th and 8th position right now. It's the tail end of the top 10. Sirkovich now holding that high lane. He's got Trevor Keith trying to follow behind him. Picklesheimer, though, with a mirrorful Tyler Harrison. Harrison on the move early. He qualified well outside the top 10. He's already up to 9th.
On board with the 45 of Harrison. Like you said, on the move, up 8 spots, but he's going to tag that wall coming out of 4. We've seen a few drivers do that in previous races and carry that momentum off of that safer barrier. I don't know the correct art of doing that, but it didn't seem to work that time for the 45. He lost 2 spots.
Yeah, they seem to struggle a little bit there. You see side-by-side battle. Trevor Keith to the inside of Harrison. He's got Johnston with him. This is just right at the tail end of this top 10. Harrison more than content to run that high lane. Everyone else looking down low. And this is the beautiful thing with Kansas. This is a multi-lane racetrack for this car if there ever was one. So you're going to see a lot of cars trying some different strategies, even over the course of this race, figuring out where their car handles best. But right now, the best of the field as they run is Jeremy Burns, 3/10 clear of Carter Linz up at the front, the pole sitter. Able to establish position early, has not been able to stretch that lead a ton, but is keeping the 66 at bay in the early going.
And that's another factor here for Jeremy Burns. It's get out front and stay in that clean air. Carter Linz, though, has been kind of hunting him since the beginning and staying at that 3/4 margin. If he can maintain that, gotta wonder, is Burns pushing his stuff to try to stay at that margin, or is Linz pushing to try to keep in that margin? We'll find out here in probably another 10 or so laps.
Yeah, and that's where things start really getting interesting, is trying to strike that balance between trying to really stretch your advantage in the lead without burning up your stuff too much, that it fades at the back end of a run. Kansas, not the grittiest track in the world, but it will burn up your tires if you're not careful. And we're starting to see that that strategy begin to unfold here of who's saving their stuff versus who's forcing the issue. As we're seeing more cars rocket on by, there's a lot more action here at the tail end of the top 10 still. A lot of cars stacked on top of each other just behind Parker. Johnston, looks like Sirkovich and Harrison were really leaning on each other for 11th there.
Sirkovich bounced off the wall again. They're out of 4. That allows the 10 to go on by a Kyle Stewart. Stewart going to look to the outside now on Harrison as they come through 1 and 2. He's going to have a really good run.
He's going to take a peek to the inside of Harrison here into 3. Down to the inside of the racetrack. Harrison up toward that high side. Still a half car length advantage. Slides in front of Stewart. He'll hold on for that spot for now. Kyle Stewart, though, not going away just yet. He's going to keep looking to the inside of the racetrack here now to the outside in turn 1. Mixing up the lanes just a little bit as Harrison decided to go low.
Now a peek to the inside again, out of the backstretch. He tried this once before, didn't have quite the advantage. Maybe a slider coming. Not this time. He'll stay at the door, but keeps the 45 from cutting down. I guess Tyler Harrison had the advantage. I didn't think he was going to be able to cut the tri-oval, and he does.
Yeah, and right now he's got that edge. As you see up from just in front of him, Parker Johnston has glued himself to the back bumper of Trevor Keith for 9th. The 48 with a head of steam down the back straightaway, trying to find a place to go with it. Everyone in front of him, though, elects to go down to the apron. That's where he goes as well, so just going to have to stick in that draft a little bit for now. This is still a very fast racetrack, despite it only being 1.5 miles. By the time you make your way into turn 1 or into turn 3, you're getting up over 190 miles an hour at this racetrack, probably about 192. So the closing speed, if you're not careful, can be pretty drastic here at Kansas.
Watching the 27 of Kevin Orlando. He just got by Michael Reed up to third position, up 3 spots for the 27. This is another driver that, turned it up in the postseason. And I know that with the points right now, he's not in this to win the championship, but still, it's good to build your momentum and probably have a more positive attitude for next season.
Yeah, 100%. You just want to make sure you're positioning yourself, even if you haven't had a stellar season this year. Try to get some momentum, and, a win's a win. Just because, you may be out of the championship hunt, picking up a win is still a huge deal in a series as competitive as the Chapman Cup Series, and I have a feeling that's the case for a lot of drivers in this field. We're just trying to go out there and get it in victory lane. That's why we're all out here racing, trying to get the win. And no better way to try to wrap up a season that may not have gone your way and ending it on a high note by ending up in victory lane at a place like Kansas.
Just behind the 27, the 53 took a stab at the 91. Rader trying to get around Reed for 4th position. Ends up backfiring down the backstretch, and he gets into the wall going into 3. That allows Nick Alves to the inside for the top 5.
Yeah, Alves has been very slowly but very steadily creeping his way up here. We have not seen a lot of him in the early going, but right now, battling to the inside of last week's winner and the 4-time champ, Rob Rader. At 24, going to glue right to the side, do a little bit of side draft, and get back down to the bottom of the racetrack, get that run through 3 and 4. Not going to be able to clear him this time around, but the battle is on. As you see, Picklesheimer nearly knocked down the wall off of 4. He really got it pretty cleanly, and that might be a little bit of right front damage there for the 35.
Side by side again here for the 11th position. It's Kyle Stewart. He got around Trevor Keith just now. Stewart going the wrong way, or actually Keith, going the wrong way. He's down 2 spots now. 45 of Harrison kind of leading this 10 car through the traffic.
Now big move here, 48 down to the apron. 45 looking up to the high side, trying to get that run back up near the wall. Harrison flew through about 9 or 10 cars in the opening couple of laps. He's kind of stalled out here, right at the end of the top 10. He's in position to tack on a stage point here if he's able to hold that spot. But certainly with how fast he was in the opening couple of laps, I think he's trying to reel in a couple more. But we also know the 45, better than a lot of cars in the field, at really stretching a run and getting in position when it matters most. We've seen him do it a lot over the past couple months. And maybe this is one of those times where he's just biding his time, letting folks maybe burn up their tires a little bit more than he is, and then he can pounce later on in this run of tires. They still have about, say, 15 laps or so on this tank of fuel before they need to consider coming down pit road. So this is about the time where if you have something that you've saved up a little bit in the opening 20 laps of this run, might be time to start thinking about forcing the issue a little bit.
Speaking of saving tires, I think Kevin Orlando might have used his up. He's fallen back to 5th. Had a slight little mistake there. So we have another camera that might be needing a little bit of adjustment. But we'll get that taken care of. 27 of Orlando back to 5th now. He was up in the top 3. Michael Reed, Nick Alves got around, and Rob Rader's working on him. Picklesheimer, the 11 of Matt Robinson. And we've got 3 wide almost here, coming off of 4. 45 to pit road.
Yeah, and he'll be that first car down pit road, going to split this stage in half. Trevor Keith going to go with him, same with Grant Thorpe. So the pit cycle underway here in the opening stage of the All About Bugs 201 from Kansas. And right now looks like a couple of takers. You see Harrison try to get down to his box, really sharp turn in. Looks like he got into his box cleanly though. Same with the 15 and the 77.
Jeremy Burns will continue to run, but splitting this down the middle, that sounds most practical here. I know for Burns, he can kind of pit whenever he wants to. He has about an 0.8 of a second lead now over Carter Lenz. And I'm curious to see if this is the lap that maybe these guys behind him start to pit and force his hand. 9's going to come down this time.
Yeah, Burns down, Lenz is down, Orlando's down pit road. A lot of the cars in that top 5 group all pitting right now. And more takers. for cars getting down pit road at this point. Good stop for the 53. Now here comes the 9. Is he going to have a clean stop to try to re-inherit that lead when this is all said and done? Looks like he gets into the box.
He missed
overshot
it. Lenz missed it too.
They both overcooked it just a little bit.
That could have been the opportunity for Carter Lenz, but it'll definitely be an opportunity for some of these drivers that short pitted the split here. Reed down pit road, Robinson as well. These cars were running about the top 10, top 5. The 11 finding the box. Man, this car's sliding a lot in its stall tonight.
Yeah, it really is. These guys are really just skidding into their pit boxes, and we're seeing a couple of cars overshoot it. That's going to be something to keep an eye on if we get more green flag stops in this race. Is executing on pit road. When you do it right, you don't always notice it, but when you do it wrong, it really stands out. You know, they kind of refer to it the way they refer to it as goaltending in hockey. When it's good, it's 50% of the game. When it's bad, it's 80%. You know, when you really make a mistake on pit road, it can just set you back, and no matter what you do as a driver, you might not be able to overcome that hurdle. So it's a matter of executing. You see the 91, a very long stop, and part of that reason, I believe that is a penalty for the 91 machine.
Black flag for speeding on pit road for the 91. Michael Reed. And that's unfortunate, but we'll set him back a ways outside the top 10 now.
He was running in the top 5 before that all came to fruition. That's the tough break there for Michael Reed and that number 91 team. Luckily for him, it's only the opening stage, so there's some opportunity to try to get that back, but with this pit cycle still ongoing, everyone's going to need to cycle through to see if he will be in that free pass position come the end of the stage. Now here comes Nick Alves from the point at 24, working his way down to his box.
There's still about half this field, 12 drivers still out on the racetrack. We could probably go another, I'd say 10 laps confidently. So maybe you stretch it out. I don't know. I don't know what the call is here. I think they're going to be just short of the stage. And with the stage caution, that's going to lengthen this out a little bit too much.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. I mean, they can stretch as far as they want. They won't be able to make it, though, at the stage of lap 40. Just a matter of going to run this out. Maybe you'll get lucky, fall into some kind of caution here just before the stage. But the fuel window only estimated that even at its best is only going to be about 35 laps tonight. So it's going to be a really big order for these cars who have yet to come down pit road to make this thing. Not even a big order. It's going to be impossible, barring a yellow. And that time is coming up in the next couple laps here. They could only probably go about another 5-6 laps maximum, and that's if they were already being fuel saving conscious from the get-go of this race.
Michael Call on the outside. Remember the 89 at the very beginning of this race? We didn't actually get an opportunity to see what happened into turn 1 on the start, but the 89 was down on the apron. So for him to be up here in the top 10 now, you can see a little bit of right front damage. I think that happened maybe from a checkup. He got to the side of somebody, I'm not sure, but he got sent all the way down the tri-oval apron into 1 and hemorrhaged a ton of positions.
And you see Call now down pit road with Caleb Gilbert. With these two making their stops, we should start seeing some of these cars who have already come down pit road work their way back into the top 10. Still a long way to go, though, because there's still a handful of cars who have yet to make their stop. One of those cars being Grant Turner, who was running second. You see Call into his box now. Turner and Picklesheimer from first and second into their box. Turner, drifting it in there. I think he got it slowed down. Oh, man, I don't know about Holloway, though. Turner looks like he got it slowed down, but sideways, and Holloway did not get that thing slowed down. I think that will be a speeding on pit entry for the 21 team.
So now I got to look on board with Justin Ritchie and see if he's doing anything to try to save and stretch this run. It doesn't sound like it. He's going to bring it in this time.
Yeah. And with that, that should be the last car, I believe, in this cycle who needs the pit. So the 55, Richie.
Another
down
speeding
pit
penalty.
road, and that has just been absolutely killer for these guys on green flag stops tonight. It's about the third or fourth one here. Not to mention a couple guys overshooting their buck. There's a lot of sloppy work on pit road right now.
So that's claimed the 21 of Holloway, as well as Justin Ritchie, Michael Reed, and that puts Reed in a weird spot. He'll end up being probably the free pass position through all of this. He was furthest ahead of all these drivers when we started our pit stop cycle, and he'll be out on the racetrack for a little while to kind of gain some ground on them. But you had John Fike, Michael Reed, Daniel Holloway, now Justin Ritchie added that to that list. Reed better hope a caution doesn't come out before that, or it might give it to somebody else.
Yeah, no kidding. There's not a whole lot of time here to cycle back through this field. Take on board here with the 91 of Reed. He is currently in a good spot, but he needs to find his way past the 55 of Ritchie, who is, I think, a distance ahead of him here. There he is. So now the 91 in that free pass position. That's a really tough break for Justin Ritchie, honestly, more than anything. You know, both, Ritchie is actively still in this playoff hunt. Came into today above the cut line. That's certainly not what you want to see if you're the 55. You see Rob Rader looks like he'll cycle out potentially to a stage win. Jeremy Burns, who just waited a couple extra laps and overshot his pit box by a couple of seconds. That is going to cost him potentially not only a stage win, but maybe stage points as a whole.
Yeah, with the half the field pitting 3 or 4 laps sooner than he did, that puts him in a situation back to 12th now with Picklesheimer ahead of him. He has to get all the way up to Kevin Orlando, and that's about 2 seconds he has to make up in just 5 laps.
Yeah, and that is definitely a thing that is not an easy feat to do here, barring some help. So as they go, you can see the gap from Orlando back to Burns. And it's not the easiest thing in the world for Burns, but he's got some company over there as Sirkovich and Forget battling side by side with him as well. Actually just got around him. The 9 definitely going the wrong direction right now.
So there's Matt Robinson, who cycled out to second, and I got to shout out Nick Alves. He stayed out a little bit longer, but not too much, and he cycles out to the 3rd spot. He has a tire advantage over the next 3 cars behind him, so he's in a perfect spot now to run away. I know for him it's not about stage points, but he's going to get...
Well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
He came into today last of the 12 in the playoff standings. He at any point he can get his hands on here, I think might. I thought
he was sitting better up there in top 8, but I guess not.
No, not quite. Not after the chaos after New Hampshire last week. He is 16 points the wrong direction, and he can get 8 of them back here in 2 laps if he's able to hold on to that 3rd place spot. It's exactly what he's been looking for here. But to what you were saying, even that may not be enough. I mean, he really needs to put together a couple of complete weekends here, entering tonight in a 16-point deficit.
Or go up there and win the race. That's the other scenario that would guarantee it.
Yeah, no kidding.
He could slack off at the Roval, and if he wins here tonight, and I know a lot of drivers, that would alleviate the pressure for them, because the Roval is punishing, to say the least. It goes against kind of your instincts, and plus you're wearing out just the same as we're getting the tire wear here at Kansas. You're doing the same thing on the Charlotte banks, and then you go down to the infield and try to turn it left and right. It is a very difficult place to set a car up for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, you might have a car that handles the speedway part of it pretty good, but not some of the other parts of it. As you see, white flag of this stage coming to the line. Rob Rader is going to win the stage here at Kansas over Matt Robinson and Nick Alves. So the winner from New Hampshire last week who's going to pick up another stage victory here. Rob Rader in that 53 machine. Boy, he is firing on all cylinders ever since we hit the round of 12.
Will it be back-to-back wins that we saw with the 22 of Gilbert in the round of 16? Rader has many stage wins this season. We even talked to him there just last week, and he mentioned how many times he won the stage but didn't finish the race. And I think that number is somewhere around 9 or 10 races that he got the stage win and didn't get a top 20.
Yeah, and that's something that really eats at you as a driver. When you start having good pace, you can prove week in, week out, you can run up front, and then you just don't get the finishes to match the pace that you have for the majority of the event. You know, that'll happen a couple times a season, you know, races that may go one way instead of the other. But having an event like the season like he's had, where it just feels like every time up until last week he was running good and then something would happen, that win I think alleviates a lot of the pains of this season to that point, because it has really been a trying effort to constantly run up toward the front of the field and then have stuff fall apart in the final third.
Rader, Robinson, Alves, Harrison, Keith, Johnston, Gilbert, Lenz, Floyd, and Kevin Orlando Jr. the top 10 there on that stage one as Rob Rader leads them down pit road.
And here comes the field down pit road. Everyone get ready to turn off into their pit box. See the first couple takers. And this is mostly an opportunity to get fueled up, get reset after the rather messy cycle of green flag pit stops. A little less of a stressful situation for these guys to try to get into their box and everything tuned up. And you see Jeremy Burns ended up falling way to the back there. Not entirely sure what happened to the 9, but he lost a ton of time in that last run between the green flag cycle and getting to this point.
Trevor Keith able to beat Tyler Harrison for 4th spot, just barely there. 3-4 car battle off of pit road for the top 10. And when we come back, we have Rob Rader, the 4-time champion, your command car for stage number 2. Don't go anywhere here on V-Speed, the Alzheimer's Awareness 201, presented by All About Bugs. We'll be back right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems.
Welcome back here live at Kansas Speedway, the second race of the round of 12. Rob Rader gets stage number 1 as we get set to go back green. He will be the command car. Race recap, it went green all the way through stage 1. Let's see if it goes green all the way to the end on lap 134. Rader off to a great start. A lot of side-by-side through this field, though. And we've got 3 wide back here with Grant Turner.
Yeah, he is trapped in the middle of Caleb Gilbert and Grant Thorpe going through 3 and 4. Might actually be a second row of 3 wide that almost formed behind him. These guys all stacked up here on the restart, trying to find some real estate, fanning out even 4 wide in some places there. A swarm of bees running down that front straightaway with the amount of space on the track they took up. And you see how many lanes they're running here through 1 and 2. Kansas is wild on these next gens, man. You can put it up high, you can put it down low. It runs pretty equivalent. You just got to find what your car seems to be reacting to the best. You jump on board here with Michael Reed, you get a step, especially here going onto the front stretch. That's how much these guys are going to fan out.
Yeah, you can run down on that tri-oval, which is kind of the preferred way to get through here. But if you're Jacob Sirkovich right now, that's not possible. You have the 8 to the inside, the 77. You've also got the 8 kind of crowding you as they make door contact. It was Richardson kind of came up the track. Sirkovich wanted to cushion that wall, and they said hello.
That they did. Take a look here. They're still going 3 wide down this front straightaway if Justice Murphy had anything to say about it. Now looking further up, Parker Johnston trying to split the gap between Picklesheimer. I think that's Orlando to the inside as they come off the corner. Oh, that almost didn't work. Johnston with just enough clearance in front of the 35. Big block. The 48 has not been afraid to move lanes here tonight. We've seen a couple of big moves from him. He currently runs in that 10th spot. Orlando and Picklesheimer are going to duke it out for 11th just behind him.
Robert Roth, hello chat. Welcome in to the broadcast and Racing Revolution of the Chapman Cup Series. It's getting exciting here in stage number 2.
Yeah.
It was quiet, but now they've turned up the heat.
Yeah, and just coming off of turn 2 a moment ago, Dylan Picklesheimer and Kevin Orlando Jr. got into each other slightly. Sirkovich almost went around through 3 and 4 at the back of the field. He was sideways through the middle of the corner, and he has caught it. They were staying under green, but that almost brought out the first natural yellow of the day. Take a look here with Sirkovich as Grant Turner gives him a little bit of a nudge.
Great save there through 3 and 4. That is a difficult car to save, especially on an embankment like that.
Yeah, no kidding. It is incredibly difficult. A fantastic save from the 5. Continues trucking along here. He is granted now well outside of the top 20 where he was running a moment ago, now scored 23rd. And speaking of at the back of the field, Jeremy Burns, that car has just not got moving since it got put back in traffic. Yeah, he's got some damage to that 9 machine. I'm not entirely sure where it happened, but it might be part of the reason of why he's been having some trouble with pace since that green flag stopped. Significant left side damage to that race car.
Tough break for your pole sitter. Meanwhile, there's a car that's on the opposite side of that. It's Michael Reed trying to work his way back towards the top 10, where he started this race here tonight. 8th position. He's back in 19th after a speeding penalty on pit road during that green flag cycle in stage 1. Free pass position, put him back up to the lead lap, and now he's passing cars one at a time.
Yeah, here he is right now in the 19th spot, right on the back bumper of Richardson. Maybe take a peek to the high side in 1. Richardson, though, also working his way up the track. Not a lot of room there for Reed to try to make a move. He'll settle back in. Michael Reed trying to do what he can to rally after that pit road speeding caution, or speeding penalty during the green flag pit cycle around lap 20 or so. And easier said than done as he and Richardson almost get together off of 4. They did not give each other a lot of room coming off the corner.
Travis Gilbert down on the apron. 22 car still trying to save it. Not sure what happened to the 22, but he was all out of sorts going into 1. I think he had a little help. Maybe not. I don't know.
You're right. A little bit of sliding there for Travis Gilbert. Cost him a lot of track position. Re-enters the track at a really dangerous part of the racetrack. Lucky that no one else collected him. He was running 3rd. This is the view from Nick Alves' perspective. And yeah, the 22, I think, just gets a little low. Maybe a bit of net code. I don't really think the 24 got to him. Either the 22 just got into the dirt a little bit, or there may have been a little bit of net code. This is off the back bumper now, Travis Gilbert's machine.
That's close. I don't know if it is contact. It's net code for sure. I don't think Alves was physically making contact there, but a great save nonetheless. I know you said it was a dangerous part of the racetrack, but a phenomenal job from everybody around there to be aware of the situation and move up to the outside. They allowed Travis Gilbert to kind of re-enter the track sideways, and we continue on with a pass for second now. Nick Alves moving up again.
That 24's got some serious speed under the hood right now, as you see Linz fighting back to the inside. Down to the apron, he's going to clear him here. A nice little get back for the 66. He's back to second. Alves, a very tight third right now as they make their way into turn 3. Got ourselves a nice little battle on our hands for what is currently that runner-up spot. We're both about 9/10 back of Rob Rader. But a good battle forming just behind him, not only for second, but also for fifth. Alex Forget, Tyler Harrison, elbows out down the front straightaway.
You can throw Trevor Keith and Dakota Floyd in that mix as well as we go down the backstretch. Floyd had to check up a lot more than he wanted to. Keith didn't give him any room on that bottom.
They'll single file out for the most part. Floyd, though, continues to run the inside under Keith. Looks like he'll take that spot away this time. Might even get to Forget coming off before. A great run for the 57. Dakota Floyd looking for sixth. You might just have it here going into turn 1. Spirited drive down the front straightaway. He'll pick up 2 spots.
Difficult to do here at Kansas as we approach lap 60.
Oh, Travis Gilbert in the wall.
15 bouncing off out of turn 2. No damage, though, on the right front. That time he's going to get it, though. That time, I think the 19 washed him up the racetrack.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. We'll take a look here on the replay. On board with the 15
48.
to Trevor Keith, and the 48, oh, just tried closing the door. 15 was like, nah, man, I'm still here. 2 of them come together. They both lose out big time, as you see Picklesheimer, Kyle Stewart roll on by, Michael Call also trying to capitalize. Here's the onboard with Trevor Keith, and he does not look thrilled.
I don't think I'd be either. I mean, I just tried to make a pass a moment ago on Dakota Floyd. I got washed up the track there, and now I'm trying to make a pass on the 48. I get washed up the track out of 4. At what point do you just start moving guys out of the way?
That really becomes the question. You see here, it's the question of just really how much patience you're going to have. Oh, Travis Gilbert, Caleb Gilbert around on the front straightaway. They are sliding through the grass. They got connected off of turn 4, and they're both going to wheel it through the infield, and I think once again we're staying green. Barney the flagman asleep up there in the stand. And we're 62 laps basically under green here, except for the stage caution, although that's probably the most blatant one of we probably should have had a yellow there. There was multiple cars skidding through the infield. Take a look at this.
His teammate there on the outside, we just missed it. We'll try to get another camera angle on this. See if we can get a look here out of 4. Looks like Gilbert on Gilbert crime right there.
Yeah, and it really cost them both pretty dearly. They both dropped to the tail end of this running order. It's been a bad start to the back half of this race for Travis Gilbert. Saw him clip the wall a little bit, had the initial little bit of off track where he had to save it, going through the grass a second time now. He's got his hands full right now.
0.7 of a second for your leader right now. That lead battle on the bottom right of your screen with Carter Lenz back here in second. He's been kind of the consistency of this playoff. Got the win there to finish off the round of 16. And now continuing. I mean, just week after week, we've seen Carter Lenz. If he doesn't have a connection issue, he's typically up front.
Yeah, and he's been running really fast here tonight. Been second just about the entire evening. Initially after Jeremy Burns, but most recently right now chasing down Rob Rader. So you see just behind him, Nick Alves, a mirrorful of Tyler
I was
Harrison.
wrong on that, by the way. Sorry about that. Correction on the win there last week. It was not Lenz. It was Rader, of course, but Lenz taking a stab at the win there. And
yes.
Yeah, and almost getting there. I mean, he was all but there and ended up losing control there in 3 and 4. But a phenomenal finish nonetheless, and I think Lenz still pulled off a top 10 out of that.
Yeah, he had a gritty drive trying to get the win from Rader. It was these two running 1-2 a week ago. It's these two running 1-2 once again. We have some movement, though, for third. Harrison to the outside of Alves. Dakota Floyd on the scene as well. That 45 has gotten really tuned up the past couple laps. He's picked off a couple of cars. Now he's up to the final step of that podium.
And this is a fight amongst drivers that are playoff eligible, with Tyler Harrison sitting 6th coming into tonight. Nick Alves needs all he can get. He got the stage in 3rd position, I do believe. Harrison has been top 3 almost every single race these past 12 or so weeks. Dakota Floyd also on the move. He's another driver that's outside of the top 8 coming into tonight. 10th in the points. But his is a little bit more doable. He's only 2 points back from the cut line.
Yeah, he's putting together a pretty strong performance so far here tonight through the opening 68 laps. Currently finds himself in that 5th position after starting 15th. He's been working on it all night long. In a pretty good position right now. As you see, he's going to take a peek to the inside of Alves. Right now, everybody in our top 7, I believe, are a part of our playoff 12. So they're putting together a pretty solid run as they go.
Parker Johnston having some problems off of turn 4, went through the grass.
Yeah, he has not been the only one tonight. There's been a lot of cars making it the world's most expensive lawnmowers. They've been doing some mark here to the inside infield. More right through the dirt there for the 48. See, he was running just outside this top 10. He's running behind Finkelsheimer, and he just brushed the wall a little bit off of 4. Had to chase it down the racetrack to catch it. Had to chase it into the grass just a little bit.
Gonna bring it down pit road here on lap 71. Johnston about 28 laps on the stint. And I would expect these drivers to stretch it out a little bit further this time around, but we're still going to have 2 stops to finish out this race.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, the fuel window is not particularly large. You're going to have to make multiple stops. We're coming up to that point pretty soon here, I'd have to imagine, within the next couple laps, if you haven't already started thinking about it. So we'll see who in this lead group is the first to decide to bring it down pit road. They got going again probably around lap 40, so they can probably go another handful of laps here before pit stops become necessary. Probably going to run this tank as far as they can go, though, because if they optimize it this stop and then one more if this stays green, can get them to the end. It's certainly a tall order, but certainly doable.
Look to the inside here from Dakota Floyd. Tyler Harrison going to defend on that high line out of turn 2. Floyd, one of the few cars that stayed committed to this bottom line all the way around this place.
Yeah, he has really taken a liking to it. As you see, he slides in front of the 24 for 4th. He's trying to knock down the door of Tyler Harrison right now. That's proven to be a bit more of a difficult challenge. The 45 has just not been able to get reeled in here in this past 20 laps stretch or so. As he continues to work that high side to great effect, better than just about anyone we've seen really so far. And starting to stretch out that gap from 3rd to 6th just a little bit. And speaking of gaps. The one for the leaders here is starting to shrink a bit as Carter Linz is trying to reel in Raiders, the entire lead group coming down pit road.
And Raider locked it up on the entrance of pits, and the entire top 10 pretty much, with the exception of Nick Alves, is going to come into pit road.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was everybody deciding simultaneously, well, now's the time, and they made their stop. Everyone filing into their boxes. Looks like a pretty clean entrance for Raider, for Robinson, for Linz. Orlando overshot just a hair. We'll see who wins the race off pit road. This was just about everybody in that lead pack. And it looks like Raider's going to win the battle off. Linz, Harrison, Floyd, Forget. So no big changes in that front five.
Burns coming down pit road now. Here comes Nick Alves in the 24. 15 of Trevor Keith. Picklesheimer also into pit road.
Yeah, a lot of takers here. Everyone coming down, but they basically within the same couple of laps. The only cars who hadn't yet, Grant Thorpe, Grant Turner. And they're not going to be able to go a whole lot further. I think Turner now on pit road. So I think that just leaves the 77 of Grant Thorpe, who still has to come down pit road. This pit cycle significantly faster than the previous one. Is now the 77 will stop about 3 laps or so after the start of it. And just like that, everyone has cycled through on pit road, and I think Raider, Linz, Harrison, Floyd, Forget will be your top 5 as they go. And boy, the 9 of Jeremy Burns having a rough night as they run at the moment.
Gonna end up going a lap down now. The damage on the left front, he just hasn't had an opportunity to get any of it fixed. And it's hurting the straightaway speed of that car. You can tell, even on the entry of 3, he was a lot slower. This battle didn't let up at all after pit stops.
No. You tried ungluing these cars, and they just stayed right together. Harrison and Floyd right on the scene with each other. You could add Michael Call into the mix here with Forget. He was kind of the big winner in the sense that he made up about half a second to get into this battle. Now knocking on the door of the 19. Michael Call sitting there in that neon and black number 89 as we're on board with him now, trying to reel in Alex Forget for the last spot in the top 5.
Look inside. Fresh tires, it's the opportunity if you want to try to make that pass. We saw Floyd trying it a lot. He'll try it again as well. He's been working on Harrison for about 10-15 laps.
Yeah, easier said than done. The 45 has proven to be a tough nut to crack so far here at Kansas. They has not been an easy pass. Not that he has been really at any point this season, but especially tonight. Once he gets a spot, he's done a pretty good job at holding on to it. See Floyd, though, not relenting, still applying a ton of pressure to the back bumper of Harrison, trying to find a way around or trying to bait him into some kind of mistake. And if you continue to fill up someone's mirror, after a while, they're going to slip up. It's just a matter of if it's a small mistake or a big one, and will you be close enough to capitalize on it?
Michael Call going to send a slider through 1 and 2. Forget going to fall in behind there, so put Michael Call up to the top 5. Nick Alves, the driver that came off of pit road, somewhere around that 2nd or 3rd spot. I thought Alves was going to...
Oh, wreck on the back straightaway. Grant Turner and John Fike around hard into the wall. And they are out of the racing line. So does that mean again? Barney's asleep up there. He absolutely refuses to put the yellow flag out for anything here tonight. These guys spun outside the racing line. And looks like they're going to be able to get this thing to pit road to get it repaired. Take a look at this. Turner just washes up a little bit, coming off of 2. 2 of them get together, and then bam. Hard licks for both of them into the inside retaining wall.
think that was Grant Thorpe that had nowhere to go.
Yeah, see Thorpe here. And that bit of contact between Turner and Fike happens. 77 is nowhere to go. Makes contact with Turner, assisting the 39 and the 65 in their spin. Thorpe, though, looks like that car is relatively unscathed. Battling with Brandon Richardson here.
And I'm hearing a little bit of saving here.
Which I find particularly intriguing, given that he pit later than anybody else. He should be good to go on fuel. He came down pit road at lap 77. If you were to stretch this thing, say 35 laps, that would get you well beyond that lap 100 mark to stretch this thing to the end, unless he didn't fully fill that thing up with gas.
Yeah.
Either way.
I thought everybody would be fine.
Like, yeah, I thought so too. So I am surprised to hear that he is saving just a little bit.
Working on it again. 57 to the inside for third spot. Tyler Harrison on the high line. Like you said before, eventually somebody's going to make a mistake here. But you've got a damaged John Fike and a damaged Travis Gilbert. Well, probably not as much damage there on the 22 as there is on the 65. But this might help Dakota Floyd finally complete this pass. Let's find out.
Yeah, he almost got there that time. A great run down the backstretch, though, for Harrison. Will re-put him into that third spot. Floyd continues to try to work the inside. Every time he has a chance, he's peeking low, trying to find something that works. Just has not been able to drag himself past Tyler Harrison yet. And as these two battle, it's letting Forget and Michael Call stay in that mix. You see, Call actually took a peek to the inside of Floyd that time in 1 and 2. Nothing going. You see Rob Raiders open that gap to 2 seconds over Carter Linz. It's about another half second back to Harrison. So the 53 in prime control right now. And after what's been a pretty difficult season for the 53, this round of 12, he's really turned it up a couple notches.
I do not believe cautions are turned off in this session, but based off of what we've seen so far, they might be. I mean, we've seen a couple different multi-car incidents here tonight, and the worst of them being with John Fike and the 39 of Grant Turner. I know it was off the racing surface, but iRacing's been a little bit inconsistent with what they deem a caution. We've seen cars get sideways at New Hampshire, maybe 40 degrees at a yellow fly. And in here, we have cars going the wrong direction, 360 degrees.
I mean, absolutely hammered that inside wall and nothing. It's been kind of wild to watch. You know, a couple of the spins through the grass or a couple of the cars driving through the infield, like, yeah, I kind of get it. That one, I'm like, all right. I mean, those two cars were pretty much totaled in that one. And yet, we stay green. It's making the laps tick away mighty fast, though. We have not even hit 940 here on the East Coast, and we're already at lap 90. These guys are just absolutely roaring right now. So you see, that is the gap, third to fifth. They've kind of gotten stuck in this position a bit here. No one has really been able to outdo the other. I think part of that's due to the fact they all came down pit road at the same time. So none of them really have a tire advantage over one another.
Stuck in limbo here for third through fifth. Dakota Floyd, Tyler Harrison, Michael Call. As we'll continue to battle here on lap 91. Coming up on another round of green flag pit stops in just about 15 or so laps. But we're going to take you side by side under green here from Kansas. Don't go anywhere.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And My goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
So we're just about to go back green. While we were side by side, the caution came out right on cue here on V-Speed. As soon as we step away, John Fike has a problem here on the backstretch. And I see him down below. There it is.
Yeah, and it's him sliding back up toward the racing line is what officially triggers the caution for the first time here tonight. Truly unbelievable that that's the one that officially brings it out, but you know, it had to come out sometime, I guess, as we are back racing. Dakota Floyd up front. It looks like a lot of other cars came down pit road. The 57 did not. And now he's in prime position here up front with Rader, Linz, and Harrison trying to reel him in.
Looks like 2 tires on the call for Dakota Floyd. Let's see if it works. He's going to have to hold off Rob Rader. Clean air has been key. Is it going to be enough, though, for that 53 car? He's throwing a Hail Mary here at Kansas.
Here we go on the lap 96. Top 3 cars all stacked up. Floyd, Rader, Linz in the turn 1. All 3 of them elect to get down to the apron. Nothing going that time by for this front group as Forget bouncing off a little bit there with, I want to say that was Michael Call that got tangled up with the 19 a little bit off of 2. They're 3 wide into 3.
Will they make it out the other side? Already some contact just prior to that. Forget moves up in front of the 45. Almost crowds him to the wall, but a crossover from Tyler Harrison. He'll go up the middle, 3 wide again into 1.
Here we go in the turn 1, 3 wide. Forget up high, Harrison in the middle, Call down low. Forget's got
Reed
the
and
edge.
11's around.
Oh,
26
around
to the
There
inside.
goes Diaz and Orlando. Hard into the inside wall for the both of them. And just like we saw with Grant Turner and John Fike earlier, It's out of the racing line, so iRacing deems it not a caution, as much as I have grown to disagree with that in the past 40 laps or so. Take a look at this. I mean, these guys absolutely hammer the inside wall. And that's brutal for Diaz. He really needed to pick up some critical points here tonight. That is certainly not going to do him any favors. He came into tonight 11 points back at the cut line.
'26 was trying to avoid whatever the 11 was going to do there, and Robinson somehow able to save that car. But the 27 of Kevin Orlando, innocent bystander in that situation. And man, so far it has paid off as we go back to the live shot for Dakota Floyd. He is now pulled away as Carter Lenz is challenging for second. Rob Rader in dirty air, first time in a while.
Yeah, now sideways. You see the 66 down low, the 53 up high, battling for that second spot. Dakota Floyd starting to get some separation as Lenz is trying to do something here to get the 53 behind him. Forget and Harrison continue their duel back and forth in fifth. Those two cars have not been able to get separated tonight. You see they actually almost get into each other a little bit off of turn two. They're hitting now the triple digits here in the laps, and everyone has decided it is go time here in the top 10.
The part that I want to go back to and the numbers that we were getting on fuel, it's 8 laps now passed from the stint, probably about 6 under green. We still have 34 to go. That's
which would be a
on the
little
edge.
too much. Yeah, that's a little too much as it stands. If they are able to stretch a little bit more than that, if there's another caution or two, I think they'd be okay. But as things stand, I think they're still going to be a little bit short here, which plays into the hands of the folks who are trying to reel in these front couple cars. For guys like Dakota Floyd, who's got some clean air for the first time, that is a looming threat here. If someone tries the undercut, gets that clean air in front of them. We've seen tonight, especially with this car, but especially so far tonight, clean air has been critical to maintaining track position if you're the race leader. See Dakota Floyd now out to a half-second advantage going into 3 and 4.
So my question is anybody maybe deeper in this field trying to stretch this run out to the very end? Can you find me a car that's pressing the clutch pedal, Alex?
Let's take a look here. I'm going to start going through the onboards, and I'll see if we find anything interesting.
Speaking of interesting, 91 of Michael Reed back into the top 10. He's challenging Brandon Richardson for 9th now. Remember, Reed was a lap down in stage 1. Got back on the lead lap. Now back to about where he started this race, but he was up in the top 5 at one point as we're going to look 3 wide through the tri-oval. Down low for the 12. Looks like Justice Murphy going to back out of the situation.
While you were saying that, I was taking a brief look at a couple of onboards here, and everyone I jumped on board with, they may be backing up the corners just a hair, but it does not seem like anyone's particularly clutching or trying to save anything from what I saw. Granted, again, it was just a quick cursory glance through several onboards. Could be wrong, but I do not believe that anyone is really considering it at this moment.
Harrison able to get back around. Nick Alves was trying to clear for the top 5. Meanwhile, we've got a battle with Lenz. Call Rader still going on. 2nd through 4th position as Lenz just brushed the wall out of turn 4.
That he did. It's opened the door for Michael Call maybe to the inside here in turn 1, the 89. Gonna stick a nose in there, see if he can find something to get around. Nothing quite that time, but he is putting on some pressure right now to the 66. And this battle for 3rd is going to let Rader, I think, maybe slip away a little bit to try to reel in Dakota Floyd, because his battling with Lenz is costing him time to Dakota Floyd in front of him.
Rader loving what he sees in the mirror now. It can help him kind of focus back in on Dakota Floyd, but there was a moment there where Floyd almost had a full second lead because Carter Lenz challenged on the outside. That was the first time that we'd seen Rob Rader kind of struggle with dirty air in a while. He'd taken over the first stage, pulled away from the entire field. You had the 9 up front for a little bit there. Then problems for Jeremy Burns. Problems for a lot of these cars. Rader even missed his pit box. There was a lot of mistakes there in stage 1. It seems like it's cleaned up.
Yeah, they kind of got the nerves out of the way a little bit, I think, here. Starting to look a little bit more settled in as we get to the closing stages of this race. Call again to the inside of Linz, again not finding anything to work with. He continues to apply the pressure, though. And what's been a pretty solid night here for Michael Call, qualified in 4th, currently running in that 4th position. He's got a lot of speed in that 89 here tonight.
Taking a look at the track temperature on top of your screen, 91 degrees, and it's falling. Sun starting to cast behind the grandstands here. It's getting close to maybe the lights coming on.
It certainly might be. I don't think they'll be on by the time this one's finished, but it's going to be a little bit closer, I think, than I initially anticipated it being.
The sun looking just over top of those grandstands over there. See if we can get an angle and look at that at some point. But it is getting low, and I know that's definitely helping this front straightaway in turn 1. Really cooling off.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm going to find it maybe a little slicker there now that track's starting to cool off a bit on that half of the racetrack. As we jump on board here, this is on board with the 66 of Carter Linz. And from here, you can get a sense just of where the sun is sitting there. Right now, it's behind that giant cloud. It's Linz machine trying to hold off Michael Call. It's hard for him to really focus on anything in front of him at the moment because the 89 has been relentless in trying to get to the back bumper here. Now they're going to take a peek to the outside.
I think this will work this time.
Yeah, he's going to be able to hang to the outside, I think. Oh, not quite. Linz slides back up in front of him. Boy, I thought the 89 was going to be able to hang there. I was wrong.
Trevor Keith and Jacob Sirkovich battle, and there's the 27 with some damage. Remember, he got caught up in the not caution down the backstretch. So Kevin Orlando, now a lap down, and 18th, was running top 10. Watching Brandon Richardson try to chase down on Michael Reed. 15 of Trevor Keith to the inside now as the 8-car pinches down on the exit. Keith still going to try to take that position. Did not like what the 8 was doing there.
This is looking like Darlington 03, the way they were sliding off each other. What was that? Richardson was fully sideways on the front straightaway and was able to use the 15 to straighten himself back out.
Let's go back on a replay here.
That was absolutely wild. Take a look at this. Keith gets to the inside. Richardson running that high lane. They get together off of turn 4, and they don't get separated until basically the entrance of turn 1.
Could you imagine that for a photo finish?
Oh, boy. I'm sure they would have loved for it to be a photo finish, maybe a little closer to the front of the field, but we've got a couple takers on pit road, actually. I think one of them being the 15 of Trevor Keith after that one. Rob Rader, Michael Reed down pit road as well. Here comes the race leader, Dakota Floyd. Rader going to be 1 lap faster. Oh, Kyle Stewart missed it. Goes around the cone, spins it. That's catastrophic there for Kyle Stewart. I was going to say, Rob Rader, 1 lap undercut. Might get him some clean air in front of that 57. But then Kyle Stewart absolutely missed the cone.
Nick Al's going to stay out. This paid off for him the last time during stage number 1. He's going to come down now. Just around 15 or so to go. This is a strange situation to be in now because of the shortcut on the strategy. And you had Dakota Floyd, who took 2 tires on the last stop. This time he has to take 4, and Rob Rader plays the 2-tire call. So I think the 57 showed his hand too soon.
Yeah, he may have been out there just a tad early.
What? Richardson
and Richie get tangled up.
How is there not a caution for this?
Wall. How is this staying green? There's a car that's not moving at the top of the racetrack. iRacing's on one tonight, man. This is absolutely insane. I'm gonna say that now.
Yeah, there needs to be a caution. The 8 car is in the middle of the racetrack.
And was as the entire field went by. It wasn't just like there was no one over there. I mean, the entire field, including the race leaders, were going by as that happened. He's still in the infield grass. Yeah, race leader Matt Robinson had to literally swerve under him. Richie's slow through the grass. What on earth is that iRacing?
Okay, so we're going to watch here coming off of turn 4 one more time. The 8 car, I think, is trying to make it to pit road. He ends up tagging the apron, shoots it up to the outside. Justin Ritchie, nowhere to go. Destroyed.
And that right there is 2 different things that could have brought out the caution. The 8 hard into the wall on the racetrack, or the connection with the 15 there. And somehow none of that brings out the yellow. I don't get it. I do not understand that one, but tell you what, someone who's probably pretty happy with that is Rob Rader, who got out way fast. And if this thing stays green, it's going to be his race to lose.
So I got a question for you. If you're Jeremy Burns right now, did you try to stretch this out and salvage the day?
I think you got to do what you can. You might know better than I from where they currently sit. When was the last time the 9 was down pit road?
27 laps ago.
I don't think he's going to make it. I think he's knowing that he's kind of been stuck at the back all day. Might just be hoping for a caution to fall his
good
way.
luck.
Realistically, there should have been one a second ago.
Yeah.
But alas.
Good luck getting the yellow to fly here today at Kansas.
I
They've
think,
harvested the corn. There's no yellow in this state.
Not anymore. I think Barney's had one too many up there. I think he's taking a nap, no longer paying attention to what's going on. Boy, oh boy. Well, if nothing else, we got a fun little battle going on for the 8th position right now. Trevor Keith, Nick Alves, door-to-door entering turn 3. A couple of guys who could really use a handful of points here tonight.
Coming up on 10 to go, Matt Robinson, Jeremy Burns still committed to staying out here. And again, this is showing your hand too early. Go back to Dakota Floyd's 2-tire stop there in the last round of pit stops. Got out in front, but at what cost? Now he's on the flip side of this, and Rob Rader's in another time zone. He's 3 seconds ahead of Michael Call, Alex Forget, Tyler Harrison. They all made 2-tire calls. They saved it for the very end of this race.
Yeah, and you know, you see the 57 is moving pretty good as he works the outside here of Trevor Keith, and Justice Murphy almost ran out of room. Slid it on through there. But you see, I mean, he's moving pretty good. He works his way now up to the 9th spot, but it's just going to be too little too late, I think, for the 57, who had top 5 pace here tonight.
And there's Jeremy Burns bringing it down pit road, so that pretty much confirms that these drivers weren't going to make it. It's the 11 of Robinson also comes in, down and away now for him, and it's Rob Rader back with the lead by 2.5 seconds, looking to go back-to-back. It'll be the second time in this championship that we've seen back-to-back wins. Of course, that driver in the 22, Travis Gilbert, who started this trend, not having a good night tonight. He's in a slump.
Yeah, he certainly is. You see the 22s had the rally back from a couple of things, but currently scored in that 17th position. We have seen him run about as high as about the top 3 or 4, but just anytime it looks like he's had some forward momentum here tonight, something's happened. He's had to go through the infield grass or has had a brush up with the wall. It's fallen back a little bit and currently scored now outside that top 15.
1 lap down as well.
Also, yeah. So is Jeremy Burns. A couple of playoff guys, a couple laps down. Justin Ritchie, also a number of laps down. Kyle Diaz out of this race early. I mean, it's not been a particularly great night for these round of 12 drivers.
Only a handful of them have survived here tonight. We have the Charlotte Roval coming up next week. So if you're not enjoying this one, man, you're going to have a tough time next week.
Yeah.
There'd be no cautions on purpose.
Yeah, it's going to look like this, although it's going to make a little bit more sense, I think, than what we've been seeing here tonight. I mean, it's just been a wild turn of events here. I don't even know what to say to it, really, other than, all right, well, I guess that's what we're doing. You see now Floyd and Justice Murphy battling for that 7th position. I mean, the 57, very fast at the moment. Just not going to be fast enough, I think. Also fast, but maybe not fast enough. Michael Calls cut that gap to Rob Rader pretty significantly. It's only 1.4 seconds now for the 89. It was 3 seconds during that pit cycle, so he's making some headway to the 53, but I just don't know if he has enough time to reel him in.
And Justice Murphy has been getting closer and closer to making contact. We're watching this battle for the 7th position. Dakota Floyd has not been able to clear the 12 out of the corner, and Murphy's doing everything he can to throw Floyd off of his line.
Yeah, easier said than done, that is for sure, is the rate we're going here.
Floyd's going to get another run here down the backstretch.
Yeah, he's going to try to get a nose ahead going into 3. He's just not been able to get or to stay close enough to the 12 on corner exit where he can really accelerate. Might be able to this time. 12 not going to be able to stay with him, I don't think.
He cut the tri-oval. He's going to get back to the door.
Unreal. And I just need to highlight Michael Call now 8/10 back of Rob Rader. There's a non-zero chance we get ourselves a fight for the win here with 5 to go. Call is flying up to the race leader. Unless Rader's just saving his stuff, but I mean, Michael Call's made up 2.2 seconds on the racetrack in about the past 15 laps.
He also had the 10 car with some dirty air there. Kyle Stewart
last time.
Watching this interval continue to drop. Another 10th that time by.
It's not over yet. He's looking pretty quick. They'll try to clear the 10 here. Oh, and the 10 does not give him any room. That might have just done it right there. Like Kyle Stewart. Oh, they're leaning on each other now. Wow. No love lost there between the 89 and the 10.
Yeah, Stewart's got to know what's going on here. He's got to give these guys a little bit more room. That ended up costing Call about a 10th.
Well, most notably, it basically just wasted a lap. He's got some clean air now to try to reel in Rader, but that was a full mile and a half that the 89 was not really able to do anything. As part of the reason that Rader reeled him in was battling with Stewart, but now Call, I think that's just going to be too little too late at this point. Don't know if it was going to be enough time to begin with, but I think that's certainly going to do it as we are making our way to the white flag here, Bradley.
One more time around here from Kansas, and it looks like back-to-back wins as Rob Rader has the lead, presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. That's the first time I've ever accidentally did that. But Rob Rader down the backstretch. Michael Call throwing a Hail Mary out of turn 2, brushes the wall. Looks like he's going to come home in second. And Tyler Harrison in a tough battle back here. He's got the 19 of Alex Forget coming off of the turn 4. It's Rob Rader, but who's it going to be at the line here? Harrison.
Wow, barely.
Oh, I think Forget Oh, man, it's 0.02 of a second for Tyler Harrison. iRacing Time and Scoring took a minute to figure that one out.
Don't say I blame him. But for the third time this season and for back-to-back weeks, it's going to be Rob Rader in that 53 machine. Don't let four-time get hot. He is starting to put together some great results here. To see a little tap from his teammate, Jeremy Burns. And that's a driver who whose fate felt all but certain, but after a 15th place finish here tonight, Jeremy Burns is going to have a little bit of work to do come Roval time.
We got to go back and see that finish off of turn 4. But first, let's burn it down with your race winner, Rob Rader. He led 68 laps, won stage 1, and now goes back-to-back in the round of 12. Rob Rader at Kansas. Let's take you back on an instant replay real quick while we have this moment and take a look at the finish here. The white flag presented by Erhardt Holmes. There's Michael Call throwing his Hail Mary off of turn 2. But this was the side-by-side battle that I wanted to look at between Alex Forget and Tyler Harrison. This one's going to be close coming at the line.
These guys were neck and neck for the entire back half of the race, it felt like. And when it came down to it, Forget was a little behind off of 4, was using that tri-oval to great effect, and you can see that's the difference for getting on the podium here tonight. 0.02 of a second. The nose of Forget was along the wheel well here of the 45, but Harrison just able to hold on to that third spot. And both of these guys, I mean, that's great points for both Harrison and Forget. They should feel pretty comfortable, I think, going into the Roval next week, but certainly a something to keep an eye on if things start getting real close on the points.
Now it's time to pull up your race winner, Rob Rader, as we're actually waiting on him to get down to the waiting room. We'll have to pull him in. Rob Rader down in the studio. Congratulations on going back-to-back. The 4-time seems to be back in shape after the win at New Hampshire and a stage win. Now Kansas in the trophy case. Do you have anything for him at the Roval to be the first driver to go 3 in a row?
Well, I'm not going to have anything for Burns at the Roval, and probably nothing for TK either, so probably not, unfortunately, but I'm happy with 2. Before we go much further, I just want to apologize to Michael Call and also Jeremy Burns, because at one point there, Burns and I were trying to fight through some traffic, and I'm trying to take it 3 wide below Call there, and he was kind of blocking me, and I didn't really understand the block, but I stayed in it, and I really shouldn't have. I should have backed out and lived another day, and I ended up okay, and I think Call was okay, but that put a serious dent in Jeremy's night, so it's kind of a stupid move. I just want to apologize to those guys.
Yeah, we wondered where that damage came from on the 9. He was up towards the front there at the stage, and I know for you, that's a teammate, so that might have been a strange conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's never ideal, and, Jeremy's not the one who put me in the situation to make the decision to begin with, so, just innocent bystander, and just hate it happened to him, and, really wasn't trying to get in the call there either, so apologize to both of them. Fortunately, Call bounced back. Jeremy still got a top 15 out of it, and with his points, he should be all right. And I mean, he's the king of road courses; he'll be fine, I'm sure. But just something I'd rather avoid if I can there.
Right quick here, Rob. I'm having a little bit of a connection issue, so I'm going to leave the channel and come back here. I know this never happens, but I'm going to do this real quick. It's kind of interfering with my audio, so 1 second here now that I'm back. So now that we've got that all out of the way, I know apologies are due, and good on you for shouting that out. But now we got to shout out. You're getting 2 wins, 2 bonuses here for getting the stage win and the race win. You had last week at New Hampshire for both, I do believe. Now we're going on to the Roval where you can relax. You can just come home with the car in one piece and have a good night. And you're in the round of 8 looking good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a better round than I could have asked for at this point. You know, you mentioned playoff points, and those carry into the next round. So, you know, I'm as glad as I am to be done with having to worry about the Roval, and all I need to do is put in enough time to hopefully not be a total weapon. You know, there's the 8 bonus points into the next round that are really going to help with the chances of making that Final Four, especially with Talladega in there. So definitely strong for the last 2 weeks and putting me in a better position. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come. I think I'm slowly figuring the car out again after some struggles getting used to everything once they did the updates to it. So we're coming around. We're starting to find some speed now.
Back into tip-top shape. Chapman on the side of the car. Chapman on the Cup Series. Anybody you want to shout out here while we have you in the booth, Rob Rader?
Yeah, big shout out to Chapman. 2 weeks in a row for them. That's really nice. You know, shout out to Michael Call, who was the sponsor of tonight's race, I believe, or maybe he wasn't the sponsor.
We had Justice Murphy. I believe it was all about bugs tonight.
Justice. Yeah, I think this. Yeah, all about bugs, and it's also, you know, a memorial and you know, Alzheimer's awareness and just all the stuff that comes along with that. And you know, it can be a really tough thing. So just shout out to anybody who's been you know, affected and touched by a situation like that. It's definitely a tough thing to go through, but you know, shout out to all the other league sponsors. Shout out to Buttkicker tonight. I think the only reason why I was able to get the track position tonight was just due to excellent pit stops, and I was just smoking these guys on pit road exit in particular. And I think the Buttkicker just gives me a little edge there. I can feel when the car is at the edge of the grip, and I mean, I was gaining a second on pit road exit all night long. And that's what got me back to the lead. That's what got me to the lead to begin with. So shout out Buttkicker. Go get you one.
There you go, Rob Rader, and you almost sold me on it. I might still have to look into that. That's probably the last piece of the puzzle outside of a motion rig. But Rob, we appreciate you. We'll see you next week when we go to Charlotte, but we're going to be turning left and right. Until then, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys at V-Speed too. Thanks for everything that you guys do.
Rob Rader victorious here, 68 laps led, and stage 1. He's going to have back-to-back victories. As we move on down, we're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. We have more drivers to talk to in your post-race coverage. And those final race results coming up just after this. You are watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series playoff time. Back with more on V-Speed in just a moment.
It's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Alrighty, folks, we are back here live from the virtual Kansas Speedway, just wrapping up this event of the Chapman Cup Series. Just before the commercial break, you heard from Rob Rader, and now going to be joining us up here in the booth. It is going to be our runner-up finisher, Michael Call. Yep, moved to the wrong. There we go. Hey there, Michael. This is Alex Bradley up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, a pretty solid night for you all around. Qualified top 5, stayed in the hunt all night long, and then when it came down to it, you were really reeling in Rob Rader there at the tail end. And
Yeah,
we were just getting to. It was going to be maybe something there if there was a few more laps, but would love to hear from your perspective what's going on.
Yeah, well, yes, I qualified 4th, but I had a penalty, so I started from the pits tonight. And what do you do? I was really good here in practice. I felt I won my league race on Monday, and I just found something that worked. And Rob got kind of caught up in traffic, and then I had traffic in front of me, and I was just like, man, if I could just clear this traffic, I know I'm better in dirty air. And yeah, it just 5 more laps. I think I could have at least gotten to his bumper and tried to make a show out of it. But no, it was a good race. It was fun.
That certainly seemed like it, and I want to hear from your perspective. I don't know how much of this you would have saw from behind the wheel here tonight, but it seemed like iRacing had decided more or less that there was just not going to be cautions here tonight if it could help it. There was a couple of things on the racetrack that certainly looked like they should have been, but ultimately weren't. Did you see anything like that, and if so, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I had the same issues on Monday night. We had the same issues in my Monday night league where it just was like the only time it caused a caution is if there was a car wrecked on the in between the wall and the white line. If you go to the infield, doesn't matter. If you go to the bottom of down the backstretch, doesn't matter. I don't know why that is, but yes, there was 2 or 3 instances tonight where I went, oh, there's the caution, and it never came out.
Yeah, it seemed really weird up in the booth. You'll hear us a little bit. We were kind of miffed by it.
I got to add to that, Michael. There was a moment where the 8 of Richardson in turn 4 was sitting in the middle of the racetrack and stopped, and it didn't throw you.
Yeah,
off.
that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise. I mean, yeah, it should have been. Yeah, because that's right. He missed pit road and hit the wall, and then came down the racetrack, and Justin Ritchie smoked him. That was right in front of me. Yeah, I figured that was a caution, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was pretty wild because it was right in front of the race leaders, and yet nothing came of it. But ultimately, you got through it unscathed, and you bring home a huge points haul for you. Some good momentum for the rest of the season. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out here tonight, Michael?
Yeah, all of the Lightning Fast Motorsports and everybody over there, Matt Robinson, Trevor Erhardt, everybody in that whole group. Ever since I've been over there, not part of the team yet, but been kind of just hitching along for the ride. things have picked up in my speed. Shield fire protection. If you need a fire suit, custom fire suit, you race real cars, hit me up in the Discord. I do that. And just this whole league, you guys, the league, I said it countless times. This is the best league on iRacing. Fixed, open, set, doesn't matter. It is the best league, the cleanest racing. And I mean, I know there should have been a couple cause for more cautions, but one caution caused by a car is pretty good. So just everybody, this league's fun, and it sucks I'm not in the playoffs because I've been running really good since we hit the playoffs. But next year.
And next year, absolutely. And we'll be excited to see what you bring to it here in the last couple races of this season, because it looks like you're starting to build some momentum right at the tail end here. Congrats on the runner-up finisher tonight, Michael, and we will catch you next week at the Roval.
Thank you.
All right, that is your second place finisher, Michael Call, in the 89 machine. And since we're going out of order, we may as well commit to going out of order, as I've been so reminded by my co-host here, Brother Cooper. We're just going to talk, I think, with our third place finisher, Tyler Harrison, who's going to be joining us now.
Yeah, I'm having a major issue here tonight as well here with the audio. So if things get a little disoriented, a little bit robotic, just know that Discord needs to sort its stuff out. I think everything is clean on the stream side of things. But Tyler Harrison finishing third. Good to have you back up here in the booth. And I know last week looked like a podium possibility. This week was looking like a podium possibility, but you have been Mr. Consistency, top 5, pretty much every race we've said your name up towards the front.
Yeah, this feels like a little mini win for me. Like, I honestly, starting back in 17th, I really bottled qualifying and didn't really get the line and how I needed to run qualifying right. So starting back in 17th, I definitely thought I would get absolutely collected in whatever calamity we would get at the start of the race, but just was really aggressive at the start. Managed to work my way up, I think, into like the top 12, while that start had like that weird little checkup at the beginning there. And shout out to TK. I mean, he had a really, really good strategy call to pit early, take the gamble, and go get 2 tires to try and undercut everybody there. And that got us the track position that we needed. So just had to maintain it throughout the rest of the race. Was really aggressive. Do also want to shout out real quickly Alex Berube. I definitely roughed him up quite a bit. And he definitely had the room to give me a little bit more of a bumper at the end, especially batting there for a podium. So it was a ton of fun racing with him and trying to keep some consistency and maintain track position. And hey, we got third place. Might not be first, but it feels like a win to me tonight. I'll take it.
0.02 of a second across the start finish line, pretty much the length of the splitter to win or get this third place finish. And Tyler, again, this goes back to all the way probably 3 or 4 races before we went postseason. You seem to have kind of found your niche where you want to run. You're not pushing the car harder than it's capable of, and it seems like it's paying off for you in the overall run of a race.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just kind of boils down to lessons that I learned in my first full-time season last year, and just kind of understanding how I really threw away getting into the top 8, getting into even the final 4, and bare minimum getting rookie of the year, right? And a lot of it really just boiled down to, pushing too hard, bad strategy calls, and, just trying to get way more out of the car than I felt like I was capable at the time. But to your point, right, I just feel like the consistency has been my strongest suit this season. Like, if I can't get a podium, at least get me a top 5. And my biggest focus has been trying to get the most top 10s out of the entire league, and I'm pretty close to Burns into it, and that's ultimately what's gotten to me this point. So just been trying to keep on that same mentality and see how far that gets us, and hopefully that gets us to the round of 8 where we can kind of keep that same kind of mentality, and hopefully that can get us to the final 4 this year. We'll see.
Well, it seems to be working so far, Tyler. I know a lot of people back you up. You've got Cars and Wings on the hood. I know there's other people that support you. Go ahead and shout those folks out while we have you in the booth.
Yeah, obviously, first and foremost, a big shout out to my amazing girlfriend, Tia, for always tuning in every week here. And as you said perfectly right, all the local sponsors here. Everybody on the car is local to Cleveland, so big CLE pride here on the car here with Cars and Wings, Recharge Rally, Mr. Detail as well. And then Avid Studios is actually a good buddy of mine in Houston, so I always want to represent his brand as well. So super happy to have those guys on the car here. And especially with all the league sponsors too, like Chapman, Enginuity, Erhardt Homes, Buttkicker, and Coastal Financial, that ultimately make this thing possible here. And big shout out to with Rolling Thunder Racing and Lightning Fast Motorsports with our alliance here. I mean, we have really good collaboration. We all work really well together. And that's ultimately gotten us better and better, not only as a group, but like individually as well. We just put forth the effort and it's showing with everybody in that group. Also a little shout out to my dad. He's visiting in town here, so I'm sure he didn't hear so many unsavory things during the races. Some of that was going on. So happy that he's here and being able to watch this. And of course, last but not least, shout out to you guys too. This one will be a pretty fun one to watch back. I feel there was a lot of really good racing and a lot of good moments. So I'm excited to watch this one back and see on the kick butt broadcast you guys put on here.
Appreciate that, Tyler. And again, you'll enjoy the replay of that photo finish for the podium. But we'll see you next week at the Roval. Hopefully another top 5 before we go to the round of 8.
Hopefully. Can't wait.
Tyler Harrison, third place finisher here at Kansas. And that brings us to the final portion. We kind of done it a little bit out of order, but hey, you know what? Sue us. I guess that's what my philosophy is, that we'll do it better next week.
Got a little out of sorts this time around, but that's on me. We'll get it right next time.
2 cautions, 14 lead changes here tonight, and a lot of this race going under green, even if it wasn't supposed to. Rob Rader, Michael Call, and Tyler Harrison, we just had a word with there. Alex Forget Berube, 0.02 of a second separating him and Tyler Harrison for that finish. And then a top 5 for Nick Alves. I was just about to mention there with Alves that he was in a great spot there from staying out, and it was working out, and then Brandon Richardson slammed the wall. So I didn't quite get that out, but hey, good on you, Nick. Great finish, and hopefully the Roval goes for you for a win, or maybe, a stage win at the very least could get you back up there. Caleb Gilbert's going to finish in 6th position. What an up and down day he had. Dakota Floyd 7th. Showed his hand a little early on that 2-tire call. Justice Murphy will finish 8th here tonight. Trevor Keith still looking good for the top 8. And then Michael Reed rounding out your top 10.
Looking back to 11th here, it's Grant Thorpe who goes from 25th to 11th here tonight. Carter Linz will finish 12th. Matt Robinson in the 13th position with Dylan Picklesheimer, last car on the lead lap in 14th. From here, everyone else 1 lap down or more. Pretty noteworthy 15th and 16th here, both 1 lap down. Jeremy Burns, Travis Gilbert. They've combined for the most wins this season. Neither of them with a lead lap finish here tonight. Kevin Orlando Jr. will finish 17th. Kyle Stewart 18th ahead of Daniel Holloway and John Fike.
And rounding out the rest of your field, we have Brandon Richardson, Jacob Sirkovich, Justin Ritchie, Grant Turner, Kyle Diaz, and Parker Johnston in the 48. Well, that's going to do it for us here at V-Speed, and another great broadcast here for the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Racing Revolution always putting on a great show. Well, we have another one coming up in just a moment's time. It's 1 week away. It's time to pull those belts tight, and let's turn right. Charlotte coming up at the Roval next week. It's a racetrack that is tough to set up for, but you can catch it October 8th from your couch, in your living room, or on your mobile device at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the last of the round of 12. Playoffs have begun here for Chapman Cup Series. For everybody at V-Speed that made this possible, Adam Baker in the background for all that he does, Dougie Beard providing the camera angles here tonight, my co-commentary from Alex Gagnon, and our co-owners, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, and Adam Baker. It's Bradley Cooper saying so long from Kansas Speedway. Stay tracking, everybody.